You're thinking about putting your home on the market here in Pierce County, right?
Yeah.
And if you're anything like most folks, you've probably been bombarded with advice, some helpful, some, well, not so much.
Yeah, there's a lot floating around out there.
Totally. We were actually just digging through some really insightful stuff over at rethinkingre.com.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the other blog from Don and Susie Karstedt's team, Rethinking Real Estate in Lake Taps.
Ah, right. Good stuff there.
It really resonated. They're like cutting through a lot of the common misconceptions people have. We thought, hey, this would be super helpful for anyone selling around here.
Absolutely. What Don and Susie have put together, it really gets to the heart of selling in this local market.
Yeah.
So this deep dive is all about tackling, six persistent myths that could actually steer you wrong when you're trying to sell.
Okay.
We're going to unpack these, hopefully give you a clearer picture, of what actually works so you can move forward with confidence.
Sounds good. Let's dive right into the first one that Rethinking RE tackles. This idea that you should price your home like way up high.
The old cushion.
Yeah, leave tons of room for buyers to negotiate down. I mean, it sounds kind of smart on the surface, doesn't it?
It does. Start high, they offer low, meet in the middle. Seems logical.
Right.
But that's really old school thinking. And the reality today, especially of how savvy buyers are, it's quite different.
How so?
Well, think about it from your perspective as a buyer. You're scrolling listings online, right? And you see a house that's clearly priced, I don't know, significantly above similar places nearby. What's your first thought?
Probably not, oh, great, a chance to haggle. More like, is that seller serious? Or maybe, what's so special about it?
Exactly. And that's the problem right there. Well-informed buyers, the ones actively searching, often working with their own agents.
Yeah, they know the market.
They do. They're constantly comparing prices. They can spot an outlier like that. And instead of making an offer, they're likely to just keep scrolling.
Keep scrolling. Ouch.
Yeah, find something that actually aligns with the market value. And, those online search filters even play into this.
Oh, good point.
Buyers set a max price. If your home's overpriced, it won't even pop up in their results.
So you end up missing out on a huge pool of potential buyers right from the start.
Precisely.
Instead of showings and offers, you just get crickets.
Pretty much. And that leads to another issue. Rethinking RE points out the listing can become stale.
Ah, the dreaded stale listing.
Right. The longer your house sits there without much interest, the more buyers start to wonder, okay, what's wrong with it?
Yeah. They assume there's a hidden problem.
Or just that the price is fundamentally off. And this can then force you, the seller, to make even bigger price reductions later on.
Oh, man.
Sometimes dropping the price below what you might have gotten if you just priced it correctly from the beginning.
Okay, that's the exact opposite of what you want.
Yeah.
So what's the better approach then, based on the insights from Rethinking RE?
Well, their recommendation is pretty clear. Price your home competitively, right from day one.
Competitively? How do you figure that out?
It involves doing a thorough current market analysis, a CMA. You look at recent sales of comparable homes comps in your specific area of Pierce County.
Okay. Same size, features, condition.
Exactly. Location, all that. Pricing your home accurately based on that data, that attracts the serious buyers, the ones actively looking in your price range.
Right, the ones ready to make a move.
And what's really interesting and kind of cool is that a well-priced home can actually generate more interest. It can even lead to multiple offers.
Oh, wow. A bidding situation.
Potentially, yeah.
Right.
Driving the final sale price up, maybe even above your initial asking price.
That totally reframes how you think about pricing, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's not about starting high. It's about hitting that sweet spot that creates demand.
Yeah.
Okay, myth number 2, that rethinking RE busts. This is a classic one.
I think I know where you're going.
Spring is always, without a doubt, the best time to sell your house. We hear that all the time, right? Wait for the flowers, wait for the sunshine.
It's definitely a widely held belief. And look, spring is certainly a busy season in real estate, no doubt about it.
Sure, lots of activity.
But it's not the universal best time, especially when you factor in the specifics of the Pierce County market. Every season actually has its own set of pros and cons.
That's a good point. We do tend to generalize. So what are some benefits of selling during, say, the fall or even winter here? Months people might typically avoid.
Okay, let's think specifically about winter, which might seem counterintuitive to many.
Yeah, definitely.
There are actually some compelling reasons why it can be a good time to sell. One of the biggest, often less competition.
Ah, okay. fewer houses on the market.
Exactly. A lot of sellers do wait for spring, so if you list in winter, your property can really stand out to the buyers who are actively looking then.
Less competition. That's a significant advantage right there. Fewer houses to choose from means more eyeballs on yours.
Definitely. What else does selling in winter around here have going for it?
Yeah.
Well, interestingly, the buyers who are out looking in the winter months, they often tend to be more serious, more motivated.
Why is that?
They might be relocating for a job that starts early in the new year. Maybe they have specific family reasons. There's often a stronger need driving their search.
Okay, so less tire kicking.
You could say that. It can translate to a higher percentage of genuine offers. Plus, Rethinking RE highlights this too. You might find that timelines for things like home inspections, mortgage appraisals, sometimes it can be a bit faster in the winter, just less overall demand clogging up the schedules in those related industries.
I've never really thought about that.
Yeah.
That the support services might have more bandwidth in the quote-unquote off-season?
It can happen.
Fine.
So yeah, while there might be fewer overall buyers braving the,
the drizzle.
the ones who are out there are likely very serious buyers.
Okay.
And the key takeaway here, as Don and Susie's team emphasizes, is there's no single one-size-fits-all perfect season to sell.
Right.
Homes sell successfully year-round. A well-thought-out strategy, that accurate pricing we talked about, effective marketing, that's far more credible than just waiting for April showers.
That's really helpful to keep in mind. Don't just blindly follow the calendar. Okay, let's move on. Myth number 3. This one feels very current. You don't really need a real estate agent anymore because of the internet.
Right.
Just list it yourself online. Save the commission.
The DIY route. It's a tempting idea, isn't it? Especially with Zillow, Redfin, all these tools at your fingertips.
Totally.
And it's true, you can access a ton of info, even list your home yourself on various sites. But, and this is crucial, something Rethinking RE really stresses these online tools. Useful for research, sure.
Right.
They don't replace the comprehensive expertise and, maybe most importantly, the protection that a good, experienced real estate agent brings to the table.
Okay, so beyond just getting the listing online, what exactly does a seasoned agent offer that, like, Zillow can't? Especially here in Pierce County.
Oh, the list is pretty long, actually. For starters, a local agent has invaluable insights into the specific nuances of the Pierce County market.
Like what?
They know the neighborhoods inside out. They're up to date on the very latest sales trends, literally week by week sometimes. They understand what buyers are looking for right now in this area. And that deep local knowledge, it directly informs a smart, effective pricing strategy, which, as we already established, is absolutely critical.
Right. They're living and breathing this market daily. An algorithm just can't replicate that gut feeling or that hyperlocal insight.
Precisely. Then there's the critical skill of negotiation.
Ah, yes, the art of the deal.
A seasoned agent is an experienced negotiator. They know how to handle offers, counteroffers, contingencies, all the tricky details involved in getting you the best possible price and terms.
That's where they can really earn their keep, I imagine.
Definitely. They safeguard your financial interests. And beyond that, think about the contracts, the legal stuff.
Ugh, yeah. The paperwork.
It can be incredibly complex, maybe even overwhelming for someone who doesn't deal with it constantly. A good agent guides you through all that, makes sure everything's handled correctly, legally, in your best interest.
Okay.
And they have a network. Trusted pros, inspectors, mortgage folks, contractors, essential resources during the process.
So it's way more than just sticking a sign in the yard and putting photos online. It's having a knowledgeable guy, an advocate.
Exactly. Rethinking Real Estate puts it well. The right agent is your trusted advisor. They keep the sale on track and, crucially, protect your investment.
That really clarifies the value prop. Okay, myth number 4 from Don and Susie's team. Renovating your home before selling always leads to a higher sale price.
The renovation gamble.
Yeah, people think, got to redo the kitchen, got to get the bathroom before listing.
It's a super common assumption. Spend big on renovations, automatically get a big boost in selling price. Simple, right?
Sounds like it should work.
But the reality is, well, it's more complicated. Not all renovations actually provide a good return on investment, or ROI. In some cases, you might even spend more than you actually recoup in the sale.
So sinking like 50 grand into a brand new top-of-the-line kitchen isn't always the guaranteed ticket to a higher offer.
Not necessarily, no. I mean, sure, a beautiful new kitchen is appealing. Who wouldn't like that?
Right.
But a full-scale high-end remodel is extremely costly. And here's the other thing. Your personal taste, your design choices. They might not line up with what every potential buyer wants.
Good point. Maybe they wanted white cabinets you put in dark wood.
Exactly. So, rethinking RE wisely suggests focusing on more cost-effective improvements, things that enhance your home's overall presentation without that massive financial outlay.
Okay, what kind of more manageable improvements are we talking about? Things with bigger impact for less dough.
Think relatively simple but high-impact updates, like touching up paint throughout the house. A fresh, neutral coat makes a huge difference.
Makes it feel clean, move-in ready.
Totally. Addressing minor repairs, fix that leaky faucet, tighten loose doorknobs, patch nail holes. It shows attention to detail. Stops buyers from getting hung up on small, annoying things. Improving lighting. Swapping out dated fixtures for something brighter, more modern, can really change the feel of a room.
Good one.
And never, ever underestimate curb appeal.
The first impression.
Always. Well-maintained landscaping, a tidy porch, maybe a freshly painted front door. Always a worthwhile investment.
So it's more about making sure the house looks its absolute best as it is, rather than trying to completely transform it into something else.
Precisely. Optimize, don't necessarily overhaul. And the really crucial piece of advice here, which Rethinking Real Estate strongly recommends.
Yeah.
Talk to your agent before you start any significant upgrades or renovations, purely to boost the sale price.
Get their input first.
Yes. They know the local market. They know what buyers in Pierce County right now are actually valuing. They can tell you which specific improvements are most likely to give you a decent return. Don't just guess.
That's such smart advice. Get expert guidance before you start tearing down walls or writing big checks. Okay, moving on. Myth number 5. This one causes a lot of anxiety for sellers.
Let me guess. Buyer's market blues.
You got it. You simply can't sell your house if it's a buyer's market. People hear that term and just kind of deflate.
It's completely understandable why sellers feel apprehensive when they hear a buyer's market. You know, more homes listed than active buyers.
Yeah, it sounds like bad news for sellers.
It can feel that way. But the important thing to remember, and what Rethinking RE emphasizes, is that homes absolutely still sell in a buyer's market. It it requires a more strategic approach, a more thoughtful one.
Okay, so what are the key adjustments sellers need to make when the market favors buyers? What becomes even more important?
Well, in a buyer's market, buyers usually have more negotiating power, right? They can often be more selective.
Makes sense. More choice.
So as a seller, you need to be particularly sharp on things like your asking price and the overall presentation of your home. Rethinking Real Estate offers some really solid tips for this.
Like what?
Setting a realistic asking price is absolutely critical. We keep coming back to price, don't we?
Seems pretty fundamental.
It is. Overpricing in a buyer's market. That's like shooting yourself in the foot. Buyers have plenty of other options. They'll just pass you by even faster.
Okay, realistic price. What else?
Investing in professional real estate photography, it becomes even more essential.
Got to stand out online.
You absolutely do. High-quality photos are what grab attention, make them click, make them want to schedule a showing.
Right. Those cell phone pics just won't cut it.
Not usually, no. And along those lines, utilizing virtual tours give buyers a really good feel for the layout remotely, can really boost interest.
Makes sense. Pre-qualifies them almost.
Kind of, yeah. Strong marketing overall, getting your home seen by the right people through the right channels. And finally, staging.
Staging, making it look appealing.
Effectively staging it to showcase its potential, help buyers envision themselves living there. That can make a huge difference when they're comparing your place to others.
So even when there are more houses listed, a well-priced, well-presented home can still nail it. It's about making yours the one that really stands out.
Precisely. Rethinking Real Estate really wants sellers to know. With the right strategies, the right marketing, your home can attract attention and sell, even when buyers have more options. Don't despair.
That's definitely reassuring. All right, let's tackle our final myths from Don and Susie's insights. Myth number 6. Home inspections are really only necessary for older homes.
The new house, no problems myth.
Exactly. If you have a newer property, maybe built in the last 5-10 years, you're probably in the clear, right? Can skip that inspection step.
This is a misconception that can potentially lead to some pretty significant headaches down the road for both buyers and sellers.
Really? Even for newer homes?
Absolutely. The reality is that all homes, regardless of age, can have hidden issues. Think about it. Construction methods vary, materials used. Even just the natural settling of a house over time can cause problems.
Things you wouldn't necessarily see.
Exactly. Things not immediately visible to the untrained eye, maybe issues with plumbing, electrical, the roof, even the foundation. These things can crop up during construction or develop in the first few years.
So even if you bought brand new construction just a few years back, it's not automatically immune.
Not at all. That's why inspections are crucial for all properties, no matter how new they seem. And actually, the insights from Rethinking RE highlight the benefits of a pre-listing inspection, specifically for sellers.
Oh, interesting. So the seller gets the inspection done before listing. What's the upside there?
There are several key advantages for you, the seller. First, it lets you identify any potential problems proactively.
Find out the bad news early.
Kind of, yeah. But then you can address those issues, make the repairs, do the improvements before buyers even see the home. Ah, okay. So you fix it first.
Right. It shows transparency, builds trust. Second, by knowing about and disclosing any issues you've already fixed, you significantly reduce the chance of surprises during the buyer's inspection.
Which can kill deals, right?
Yeah.
Or lead to painful renegotiation.
Exactly. Those 11th hour surprises are stressful. A pre-listing inspection helps avoid that drama. It contributes to a much smoother, more confident closing process for everyone.
So it's about getting ahead of problems, being upfront, and making the whole transaction less stressful. That makes a ton of sense.
I've done it.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we've certainly covered a lot of ground today, debunked some really common myths thanks to the insights we found over at rethinkingre.com.
We have indeed. And I think the main takeaway from all this, as Don and Susie Karstedt's team emphasizes, is just how dynamic the Pierce County real estate market is. And having accurate information, having the right guidance, it's absolutely essential for a successful sale. You can't just wing it based on old wives' tales. Absolutely. Don't let outdated myths or, what your neighbor said dictate these huge decisions. Get informed. Partner with experienced local pros like the team at Rethinking Real Estate. It can truly make all the difference.
It really can. And if you are thinking about selling your home here in Pierce County and you're looking for that kind of expert advice, that personalized service, Rethinking Real Estate is a fantastic local resource.
Yeah, they seem really focused on helping people navigate this market smartly.
They are. They're dedicated to helping you understand the nuances, make informed decisions, and just feel confident through the whole selling process.
So if you're ready to take that next step, or maybe you just want to chat and learn more, reach out to Don and Susie's team at Rethinking Real Estate.
What's the number again?
You can give them a call at 253-987-6789. That's 253-987-6789. They're ready to provide the expert advice you need to make sure your next move is the right one.
And maybe the most empowering thing to remember as you think about selling is that knowledge really is power. By understanding the realities of the local market, by actively avoiding these common misconceptions we talked about, you're already putting yourself in a much stronger position for a successful sale. It kind of makes you wonder, though, with so much advice floating around, what other real estate truths might actually be worth a second look?